What's up, everyone? Welcome back to a special Thanksgiving week, Sunday main slate, tournament tactics, where we take a look at the NFL Week 12 main slate. We're going to look at tournament strategies. We're going to look at every strategy because this slate is crazy. It's a wacky one. So Bobby Millions, Shark Lab himself, Geek here. Let's do this. I got to tell you something, guys. I'm still floating. I'm still feeling the after effects of, I didn't even do one Thanksgiving yesterday. All right. I had multiple stops. Whew. I'm talking about like dessert stops, other stops. I don't know what the hell was going on yesterday, but I was eating and it was like, you want some more pie? And I was like, yeah. And then I would go to a different place, a little pie. I'm like, yeah, I'll take a little pie, a little bit, a little sliver. You keep having these slivers, all of a sudden it becomes like a pie for yourself. Do you guys have a good Thanksgiving?
Yeah, it was good. Spend time with people that I haven't seen in a while, so it's nice.
That is nice. BobbyWow, you have a nice traditional Thanksgiving. I see you with like cranberry sauce, stuffing. Like it looks like Martha Stewart prepared it.
Oh my gosh.
It definitely happened that way.
It was good. That way. Anytime you get food and family in the mix, it's a good time. And we went to my uncle's house, so he had turducken. So we had that for the first time.
Ooh, nice.
It was an experience. Yeah,
that feels like a more southern thing than something you'd see in Illinois.
We haven't done it before, but it had some stuffing in there too. It was good.
Nice. Burns, traditional Ohio Thanksgiving for you?
Yeah, we had the turkey with all the ham and trimmings, your traditional trimmings, mashed potatoes. But my wife's family does like a sweet potato like thing, and it's got
the marshmallows with the marshmallows.
I know that one. It's got like
I'm familiar
pecans with the brown sugar on it. Oh man, that shit is good.
Can I tell you guys a secret? And I know about the pie thing with the marshmallows, the sweet potato. Can I tell you guys a secret, though?
Please.
I fucking hate turkey. I don't like it. I don't hate it, but I don't like it. Like, it's not something I'm interested in. I don't want it. I like it on a sandwich, sliced nice and thin, but you talk about a big, giant piece of turkey. It's not my protein of choice. Not trying to.
Yeah, I'm with you. People try and get all like hot takey about Thanksgiving, like, oh, the food's not that good. There's one overrated item, and that is the turkey, in my opinion. Yeah. Everything else is amazing.
No, I love the sides, all that stuff, the mashed potatoes. Love gravy on stuffing.
Everything.
On stuffing. Love all that.
I got to go dark meat, though, man. The white meat gets kind of dry and shit. I don't know.
It dries out. But let me tell you what made Thanksgiving even better for me. Listen, what could have made it great was taking down the tournament. Isaiah McKenzie... there's math going on these short slates that I still want to work on, because here I am, the Dom station, Jesus took the wheel. It was slapping Isaiah McKenzie into lineups left and right. And I'm like, I can't have 35% exposure to this knucklehead, right? I already bet him on the under, lost that one. So here I am, like getting cute, smashing a 15% max on the guy. And you needed McKenzie to take down the tournament, though. I will say a couple other things. Looking back on that tournament before we look forward, was listen, we nailed that double tight end was going to be a good scene. The other thing that was really interesting about that slate, and I want to burn it into my memory going forward, and Burns, burn it. BobbyWow, burn this in your memory, right?
Yep. Let's
think back on the fact that Devin Singletary was 40% owned chalk. Okay. And I went under the chalk because I was like, that's a stupid chalk, but I didn't go under nearly enough. Like at some point, if you see kind of a crappy player like that, who hasn't had even a single good worthy game the whole season, all of a sudden chalky, why? And then that's happening. Do we accept it? In the future, we need to recognize it, point it out, and avoid it. Just like, you know what? I'm not playing Devin Singletary chalk. I'm sorry.
And not to toot our horns, Geek, but we did talk about this. We talked about Singletary specifically on the pod, and we mentioned being underweight on him because it was ridiculous.
Wasn't underweight. I feel like
not enough.
I feel almost like, why didn't I unfriend that motherfucker? Like, why not just you know what? No. And I would say that in hindsight, the same thing with Dawson Knox. Like, that's the chalk.
Yes.
I faded him completely.
That's what I'm talking about. First of all, I tried to fade him too, and we got cute. Remember on the show with, instead of making an Allen with 2, because every single lineup was going to have Knox, and this is where it went a little off. We said, all right, let's just do Allen with one of Diggs and or Davis in every lineup, and then let the other guys just kind of find their way in, where the actual better move would have been still Allen with 2, but had it defaulted to Isaiah. Now, in the end result anyway, it was Allen with only 1 that won the tournament, because Allen and Diggs was a lower scoring combination than Allen and Justin Jefferson. So that was the other thing.
Yeah, and Amon-Ra had a great day too.
Amon-Ra was in the lineup anyway. He was like, you couldn't not have Amon-Ra in your lineup unless you tried to avoid it. He was in every lineup.
Yep.
But was
Hunter Henry. He had himself a day.
I almost knew that was going to happen too. I was like looking at Henry going, man, everybody's playing Knox or whatever. I always loved Dalton Schultz. And by the way, we were correct about Hawkinson. He had a great game.
He sure did, yeah.
Great. So that was right. Schultz was great. A lot of interesting
things. Talked about Zeke a lot.
Zeke, Thanksgiving Zeke. So a lot of things went right. But you know what? When you play the turkey slate, it's like when you play a 3-gamer, you win or you die. There's no, like, I came in, I think 35th in the fleet. It doesn't matter. Like, that means nothing. If you didn't take first or second place, you lost money. And that's right. Aguilar was absolutely discussed. As well as a really good turn. So some ups, some downs. Now, one up for me was I swept my bets outside of that, the prop, but the bets themselves, I hit Minnesota minus 2.5. That was awesome. And I played a crazy parlay, a 13-point teaser, which I only learned about from John and the crew, or that you could do this, because I felt like, I said on the show, I felt like Dallas and Buffalo were pretty locked into winning their games, but I didn't like the against the spread, which turned out to be the right call, because obviously, the backdoor cover with the Giants. But so I was able to get a 13-point teaser going, and I max bet it. So my losses on the MME on DraftKings were more than made up for between those two bets. Like, I was like, holy shit, it's nice to come out of a week where I didn't win. My DFS and my bankroll on DraftKings went up significantly. That's always fun.
Love that.
Yeah. So anyway, let's get into NFL Week 12, the main slate. And this one's nuts, guys, because quarterback position, it's always weird when there aren't any kind of, or there aren't many obvious quarterback plays. So that's where I want to get started here. Taking a look at the QB position, guys, and just some of these games. Actually, I think we can go to game tiles before we even kind of get into positions. But you could see here, 36. What is this? What? 36-point total.
God,
it's gross.
This is disgusting, right? And it's actually it's a weirdly close spread, which Sam Darnold starting. I love Broncos defense. Sam Darnold is playing. It usually takes Darnold a couple games to see the ghosts. But there we go.
I love Broncos defense, and I love Broncos money line there too.
Yeah, just a little overview. So Darnold starting for the Panthers. And Broncos defense is a play here. Broncos got Lats Murray going at running back as the only guy. Okay, interesting. Right here we've got Bucks at Browns, and in this game, this is the finale for Jacoby Brissett, probably with the Browns. Going to try to get some shit going. Rashad White taking over as the full-time all the snaps running back with Fournette doubtful. White, very, very interesting in this spot. I'm down with all the guys. Isn't it funny? I keep waiting for. Are you guys on board with the fact that I'm just like waiting for Brady to snap back and it never happens?
Yeah, it's a little weird. I've been waiting for it to happen all year, and it hasn't happened. And I'm like, oh, when is it going to happen? And it's that 1 week where it does happen, and you have like very little shares of it, and it's like, man, you know,
it hasn't happened yet. So it's not like we missed it. It hasn't happened yet.
No, that's what I'm saying.
For it. I still feel like I'm waiting for it. What's the other thing about that game? We got White. Yeah, he needs to. If Brady got a conjugal visit with Giselle, that would youthfulize him. But
isn't he undefeated since Giselle?
I don't know about defeated. He hasn't been playing well. Listen, I don't care about wins and losses. I care about fantasy production.
Okay.
I do not care about. I didn't even know Chicago, like the Bears, were losing all these games with Fields kicking ass. All I was paying attention to was Fields kicking ass. I didn't realize they were taking out. Like, I wasn't paying attention to that. I don't even care. I just want. We won't get into that. I know that's sensitive.
Okay.
It's sensitive. We won't talk about it. We will, but we won't. Okay. We'll talk about it when we get to Chicago. Ravens at the Panthers. Oh, man. Normally, I don't get excited about 43.5 point total games. I don't know. I don't know what to do with that one.
I got to take on this one.
Yeah, I'm going to look
forward to
Burns, what's your take here? Because I don't know what to do with this game.
Well, currently our ownership projections aren't really where they need to be. We'll know more on Sunday, right? Where we're going to stand and where we're going to be. I'm absolutely in love with Lamar Jackson in this game. I think Lamar is going to be the most sneaky, under-owned guy this week. I think he explodes. I actually wrote him up in my article for the week. I think you see week 2 and 3 where he goes for over 100 yards on the ground. He has a rushing touchdown, and he throws for 2 or 3 touchdowns, one or two to Mark Andrews and then another to Demarcus Robinson.
That's what I'm talking about. I love the confidence of the call. Now, what about this game environment leads you to that conclusion, or is it just a feel thing? Because he's on the road in Jacksonville.
Oh, I don't mind that he's actually on the road. I actually like it better. Jacksonville's, it's probably going to be nicer weather down there. I really don't mind him being on the road, and actually away favored quarterbacks and home favored quarterbacks are a 50-50 split in winning middle-maker lineups. So it really doesn't matter whether they're on the road or not. I like the fact that he's not been doing well. Fantasy wise. Lamar Jackson, we're so used to him being like 25, 30, roughly right in and around there on an average, right? Well, he's been in and around 16, 17, 21. He topped out at just a couple weeks ago. So what I really like is the fact that the ownership is going to be it's going to be very suppressed on him this week. And I just think it's a Lamar Jackson, like, hey, I'm still here, guys. Oops, if you didn't play me, I'm sorry. That kind of week for him.
Sneakily puts Lamar Jackson's name onto my cheat sheet that was missing earlier. All righty then.
I'd stack him with Andrews all day long. Here's the reason why I really love Andrews in this game. Lamar Jackson's target rate to the running backs is one of the lowest in the league. To wide receivers, it's not very good. It's middling, if not low, in the league. But to the tight end, he is the number one target producer to the tight end position. He's got almost a 10% greater target rate to the tight end than Mahomes and Kelsey.
Does the hip issue bother you with Lamar?
I don't give a shit about that.
All right.
He's going to rock.
That game is interesting in general. I think everybody forgot about Christian Kirk as well. He had a monster game. Anytime a team's coming off a bye, kind of forget about like ETN and their players a little bit. And I think that opens up a little low ownership opportunity. So we'll talk about that game as we get to it. Here we've got Tua up against the Texans. They're massive as a massive favorite. And this is one of those situations that I find interesting and weird. So Texans going to the backup quarterback. Can't be worse, by the way, than Mills has been. Can't be any worse. I would imagine Kyle Allen, same or better. It can't be worse. The big thing for me is in a non-competitive game, normally I love Tua. I love Tua to Tyreek, but Tua, Tyreek, Waddle, they have something in common. They're all very, very much priced to their ceiling. They've been having ceiling games a lot. And so it's a little sketch to play them in this environment, especially against the worst run defense in the league. When there's a very sexy Jeff Wilson Jr., looks like he's going to get all the carries with Mostert likely not looking like he's going to play. So I'd just rather have Jeff Wilson in that one. But Tua, I guess, is one of those quarterbacks that's on the slate. Jets bring in Mike White, who we have a memory of him playing this amazing game, and this happened last year. That was not an anomaly. He had an amazing game, threw for 4 touchdowns, I believe. But he played some other games for the Jets last year where he was absolutely terrible, and all of those games featured lots of interceptions. So, I think the Jets probably are set up to win. I don't know that Fields is going to play in this one. BobbyWow, is Fields looking like he's going to play this week?
I hope he does not, but it looks like as of now, I think he might play.
They're going to play him with the busted shoulder.
As of now, that's what it sounds like.
Well, I'm going to tell you that I'm familiar with what happens to running quarterbacks when they have an injury, and the team needs to protect that injury. It goes bad because they're going to try to keep him in the pocket in that sense. They won't do all the design runs. I'm not going to play Justin Fields, who, I can't. Can we play Justin Fields, BobbyWow? You tell me. I don't. Right, my donkey sensibility is hell no. You can't play him. You can't play him with a busted shoulder. But you tell me.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. He's convinced that, and the doctors are convinced that he can't injure it anymore. Like he can't further hurt himself, do any more permanent type damage. So, look, he's a young guy. If they let him play, he's going to go out there and he's going to ball. He's not scared. I think that's terrifying for me. I don't think they should play him. But if he suits up and is named the starter, I think he's going to do his thing, Geek. No one's going to be able to tell him to just stand in the pocket and throw.
That would be wild. That would absolutely be wild. And it would be the antithesis of what we've seen with other running quarterbacks in the past, but certainly could happen. It's not like the Bears are not trying to dig in the wood, but it's not like the Bears are competing for a playoff spot here. They're just having fun, letting the kid get experience, right? So
they're competing for a top 2 draft pick is what they're competing for.
Yeah, it's not a playoff spot.
I think Montgomery is a much better play in this game. I'd much rather play him than Fields. One thing worth noting, if we saw Fields ownership projection dip to like 2 or 3%, the Jets have given up 2 out of the 3 highest fantasy points they've given up are to running quarterbacks. So just worth noting, but I think I'd much rather play Montgomery in this game.
Yeah, and I don't love Montgomery, by the way. So let's not get crazy on Montgomery. Needs to be favored. He needs his team to be favored. That his splits are very much better when his team is favored. But Montgomery will get all the carries, which is nice. Jets defense, though, is good against running backs. It's not going to be, and a lot of scoring. This is a 38-point total. Ew, gross. So one of my favorite spots on the slate was the Bengals at the Titans, just the Bengals side in particular. Titans have this wonderful team that is really good at stopping the run and really bad at they funnel the pass. Bengals also don't have their steals all the touchdowns running backs for this game. Mixon not going to play. Samaje Perine going to be the starter, and he's more of a pass catching back. So so that's an interesting one, right? I think Burrow is the best play on the slate at the quarterback position. To me, Burrow is the best. I don't know what you guys think, but that's kind of how I have it read. I think Burrow, for his price, or is at least one of the best plays on the slate right now.
I mean, he's in my top 6 quarterbacks.
He only made
the top.
I can't wait to hear who the 6 are.
He's in my top 6, but he's not my top guy. No,
I like it.
But right. I mean, I'll tell you, I'll have a good amount of them though.
I mean, this is a quarterback that's been part of the Nuts lineup multiple times already this year, so he can get there.
Do we know Jamar Chase? Is he definitely in?
No, there's nothing definite. Game time decision.
Okay.
We know nothing. Game time decision.
I mean, if he ends up out, I mean, I like T. Higgins again this week. He had a great week last weekend. So But don't forget about Boyd, and don't forget about Hayden Hurst either.
Boyd is massively overpriced for his role on this team. It's really disgusting. He
is, but he can pop off too.
It could happen, but like he could also pop off at 5K, and it's a lot better when that happens.
Yeah.
Like it's the exact. They have not changed his role. He's getting the same target.
He's 5.9K this week, right?
I thought it was 6.5.
Let me check. It might have been last week that he was 5.9.
Oh, there he is, 5.9. So
yeah, that's what I thought.
Still overpriced. Remember, this was a guy we weren't excited to play at 5K or 4.8 earlier in the season in the exact same role. I like Henry on the other side of that one as well, and maybe Treylon Burks is really interesting as sort of a wide receiver punt play, underpriced. So next we've got the Falcons at Washington, and 40.5 point total is disgusting, guys. This is not good. This is not a type of scenario that you want to target. Washington, the most interesting thing for me is Gibson at this point kind of seems to be taking over as the lead back. Looking at his snap numbers, he's approaching 70%. That's a good number. He did that last week. I don't know if that was game flow based, but Brian Robinson is really just the guy they kind of, I don't know. It could shift back. Don't know. Could shift back. But right now, it looks like Gibson is taking over as sort of going back to his original role as sort of the passing and getting carries as well. Chargers, Cardinals. I put a bet in on the Chargers already, guys.
I need to get you guys' opinion on this on the Chargers side. I have so many different thoughts on this game.
This one we'll have to get in depth on it because
this game is going to be tough. I mean, Chargers are full strength right now if Mike Williams plays this week, and he's out.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes it a little easier.
But by the way, even without Mike, they've got Everett, and Palmer has replaced Mike Williams in that role, and they have Keenan Allen, so they will be at a stronger position than they've been most of the year. And I think it's maybe the Keenan Allen is that missing ingredient that's been causing Herbert's not having the best of games. Maybe what if it's that?
Keenan Allen came in last weekend off a main slate game, and he was targeted quite heavily, and he had 94 yards receiving. I mean, he's not hurt. Don't worry about him. He is money, especially on DraftKings. Now, FanDuel is a different story. He doesn't catch touchdowns, but on DraftKings, really well he's great play at 6.1K. He's going to be probably he's probably going to – I'm just going to let the DS take the wheel, but I don't see why he wouldn't be in 25-30% of my lineups.
Jesus loves Keenan already this week, so there's no doubt. My big concern with Herbert is just he's not been, he hasn't been great all year. He's pretty much been just all right. Not putting up big numbers. They've been relying a little more on the run than what you would hope. But maybe that's because Keenan Allen has been out. I don't know. Again, a slate like this, it's really tough to pick out quarterbacks to get excited for. So. Yeah, I guess you got to keep Herbert in your mix. BobbyWow, what do you think about the fact that Kyler Murray is going to play in this game, but he's going to be limited? I mean, he's going to be compromised.
No, I'm glad you asked. I have a little bit of interest in Kyler, and here's why. He has upside, right? Although he has absolutely stunk this year. I'm wondering if maybe the breather he got can kind of refresh him a little bit. Hopkins is back to full strength. He looks like an absolute beast. And this game total is really intriguing. So I will have some shares of Kyler and D-Hop this week.
Marquise Brown's coming back too, right?
Yeah, Hollywood might be back this week.
That's why I love this game. I think this game is just loaded.
It could be. I think Kyler Murray needs to not suck in order for that to happen. And the hamstring, the lies on the injury report. I don't know what's going on here. You don't miss a game last week with a hamstring injury, and then you're totally fine and off the injury report the next week. That is bizarre. That's not like how human biology works. I don't think like your hamstring doesn't heal up that much in a couple days. So this is kind of weird, but I guess you got to believe the team and assume that he's fine. And if that's the case, then yeah, I guess Murray is in the mix.
It's this weird thing where this is a conspiracy in a way, but it feels like the coaches almost could have said, "Hey, you're going to take a couple weeks off. We're going to cover it with an injury. You need to hit the reset button." And so do we. And it almost feels like, at least maybe in conjunction with the injury, one of those types of scenarios. So
I want to believe this. I want to believe that's what happens.
Telling myself.
I have extreme lack of faith in the coaching staff of the Cardinals to do anything right, including a move like what you just suggested. Like that's what the Jets are doing with Wilson, but Wilson's not getting better. Taking a few weeks off. He's going to suck when he comes back too. I promise you. Okay. So that game is interesting, both sides. Let's keep it in mind. It was a game that I maybe dismissed earlier in the week. Yeah, he's a neuroscientist and he knows what's up. Human biology don't work like this. Even the doctors in the audience agree. You don't just miss a game with a hammy and then like, oh no, it's fine now. It's good. No Q tag. Where's your Q tag, bro? I believe it more.
I think that's what it is.
I want the Q tag. All right, so the another game here. Let's go to it. So we didn't talk about Raiders, Seattle. This is going to be 47-point total. So we got to hang with these. Listen, there's only a few games with high totals. Seattle, Raiders looks like a running game bonanza, but the Raiders side is really interesting for me because like it could either go Jacobs or Devontae Adams. Both of those guys. I don't know about both. Burns, can they do enough to where Jones and Devontae Adams were both worth rostering together?
Well, wasn't it last week where Devontae Adams had like 36, 37 DraftKings points and Jacobs had 22 to 24?
Jones didn't do enough to be in the nuts that week, though, right? He needed closer to 30. He needed that touchdown. He needed one more touchdown to get there. Devontae Adams got it. That's an extremely concentrated offense on those two players right now.
I think you're right. It's Adams and Jacobs and forget about everybody else.
Yeah. And I don't know that I want them together. BobbyWow, Seattle side, man. I love Kenny Walker. That's my guy. Everybody's playable. Although I have to say, Metcalf and Lockett, I don't know how to decide between the two of them. They've had an equal distribution of targets and, either one of them could do it. I don't know that I prefer one over the other.
Yeah, I don't know that I prefer anyone either. I think people assume the Las Vegas passing defense is terrible. It actually hasn't been that bad this season, so I'm not quite as interested as I normally would be. I love Kenneth Walker. I love the upside. I love the matchup. I love that he's catching passes now. He's targeted a significant number of times last week, and honestly, feels like he's a decent pivot off of the Geno chalk as well. So he checks all the boxes for me this week.
Yeah, and he does get you off a weird, as of right now, guys. And I don't know what's happening. Like I said, with ownerships, it's always weird on Fridays. Up is down, left is right. Shit changes like crazy by Sunday. I don't even like to get too into sharing it anymore. I've essentially been like, let's not even show it. But as of right now, it does look like Geno will be one of the highest owned quarterbacks on the slate. I don't agree with that as a thing. Not only from I don't think it will actually occur that he will be the highest, but I also don't. I think it's nuts. If that did happen, why is that happening? I have no idea, because Seattle wants to lean on the run. So a little weird, but it is looking like Geno Smith will be a high-owned quarterback on the slate. So yeah, Kenny Walker, K-Dubs, dynamite. Interesting backup plan. All right. Rams rolling out either Wolford or Perkins at the quarterback position this week with Matthew Stafford. Is there any chance for the Rams to do anything here? Should we be interested in any of these guys, or is this just stay the hell away time? I mean, Perkins, to his credit, is basically a running back who can also throw the ball. And I normally like quarterbacks like that, but it's not like – so DFS Up North just tore into him in our private chat, and it's getting me off of it.
I like Perkins. I love Geek. I sent you the video last night.
I know, I saw the video.
After Thanksgiving dinner, I started watching the college highlight reel just to get myself a little jazzed up about it. But look, I think on DraftKings, he's worth some consideration. The guy can run the football. I understand the Rams are going to hand the ball off to their running backs, and it might be a blowout early. But for $5K with a quarterback with some rushing upside, if he ends up we'll call it getting lucky. If he gets lucky and breaks a big run, doesn't take much more than that for his price. So he stinks. He's a third stringer for a reason, but I do have some interest.
Did you check or know what his preseason stats have been?
I've checked everything. I've looked at all of it. It doesn't bother me. It's one game.
Burns? That's not your guy. You're not an underdog, 12-point total quarterback using kind of guy.
Well, I think is it 14 now?
It's 13 and a half. I mean, it's really bad.
It's like 15 and a half now, right?
It's down to 13 and a half. I mean, it's just not a good seed. So, and by the way, it might not be Perkins. It might not be Perkins. It could be.
I'm kind of worried about the other side of the ball with that being that high of a game.
Well, that's what I wanted to get more into, right?
Spread,
Can we trust Mahomes in a game where there'll be no threat whatsoever from the opposing team offensively? Because Mahomes is expensive, and he's been great every single week, and he's got a 29-point team total. Like, there are some positive things going on, but, I mean, it's a non-competitive environment for Mahomes. What do we do with that?
I'm almost of the mind that you operate, if you're going to roster Mahomes, you almost operate as he could be out after the third quarter. In the fourth quarter, they're just going to put their second string quarterback in. I think they style on the Rams big time here. I think I almost think Kelsey might be too expensive, but Kelsey can also get 2 or 3 touchdowns, and then they coast after halftime in the third quarter, and Mahomes, Kelsey is out of the game, and you're like, oh, okay. It could be like that way, but I don't see the Rams keeping it close in this one.
No, it was a trick. I don't see them keeping it close. So, BobbyWow, what do you do in a scenario? It's not a competitive game.
Yeah, I think the weird thing is the Chiefs have played some really crappy teams this year, and they haven't blown anybody out. So I don't know if that's playing to the competition. I don't know what's going on there, but in the 2 games that the Chiefs won by 20-plus points, Patrick Mahomes put up 31 fantasy points and 38 fantasy points. So worth noting as well. I think he can get there. It doesn't bother me all that much or take me off of him. That's where I'm at with it.
Okay. All right.
Could also be Pacquiao game too. I mean, running backs in this game too.
I'll give the Rams credit for one thing though. They're pretty decent against the run, and they actually should be able to do an okay job stopping Pacheco. So they probably would be okay at actually stop if they're going to do anything. I was thinking about Pacheco and like, wow, this is a great setup for the runner on KC, except he's, actually Rams are decent against the run. So they might be able to slow him down and force him to throw for those touchdowns. So this will be interesting. Mahomes definitely made my QB list. And wait, what? Jacobs just added to the injury report, which could throw an interesting wrench into the RB situation for this week. So we'll see. We'll monitor that because he was one of my faves. And then finally, a game which I have very little interest in, actually, San Francisco San Francisco home taking on the Saints, 43-point total. And little interest because San Francisco is a really tough team to get a feel for. They've got 2 running backs going right now, and they're kind of eating from each other. McCaffrey a little too expensive for like a 60% running back. Elijah Mitchell a little not doing enough to make value. And I don't know. I'm not interested in this one. All those too many good players. Who are you playing? Ayuk, Kittle, Debo.
CMC.
It's too many.
CMC.
McCaffrey. They're all expensive. They don't score enough points to feed all of those guys. So, BobbyWow, any interest in this game at all?
Not really. I mean, both defenses are above average across the board. So I actually like the under in this game. McCaffrey's too expensive. He'd be the one guy I would consider. Maybe Kamara, but no, I'm not that interested.
I'm not touching Kamara in that spot on the road with a Q tag all week, and San Francisco's going to put a beating on the Saints here. I just think they're going to beat them down. Who's the quarterback for the Saints? Is it Dalton again?
I think so.
Dalton's just going. They're just sticking with Dalton. All right. Yeah. No, that's a gross one. So I'm not super into that. But speaking of the under, BobbyWow.
Yep.
Speaking of that, it is Black Friday. And we've got a little something. And I'm wearing my Sharp gear today for a reason. To let you guys know that for Black Friday special, we're giving everybody who's watching Tournament Tactics a free month of Sharp Pro. Now, if you didn't sweep your bets like I did on Thanksgiving, Minnesota minus 2.5, the money line parlay on the two favorites earlier, then today you're less happy than you could have been. But had you been a Sharp App Pro member, you could see my bets and tail them if you so choose. That's kind of one of the things that we do at Sharp App amongst the betting models and the awesome props tool, which is my favorite thing. You know how when I'm doing my sheet, by the way, I use the props tool on the Sharp App. You want to see what I pulled up from the Sharp App? The fact that Jeff Wilson Jr. has the exact same touchdown odds this week as Christian McCaffrey.
It's wild.
Yes, and the same touchdown odds. You just go on the Sharp App to the props tool. You type in the name. You click on to score a touchdown. You can compare them. It's great. So it helps your fantasy football game. That stuff is free. The premium, you could follow our bets, get the betting models. So if you go to Sharp App, sharp.app, it's better to do this on the website because putting a promo code in on the app itself is very difficult to find. And you just use promo code ARMY. You will get a free month or a month worth. So $30 off a year subscription to Sharp App Pro. Go check it out if you want. It is awesome. It's a great tool. There's a Discord as well. You can follow bets by John Statsational, Alessia, and Anthony, and all these really, really sharp bettors. So make sure you download that, check it out. And again, it's promo code ARMY. Will get you a free month of premium. If you don't like it, you cancel it. And you'll still want to have the app for all the other cool stuff, for the top props tool, and all the other great content that comes through. So make sure you guys check out Sharp App. Okay, let's get into this, and we'll go position by position here. And Burns, you said you had. Let's talk about our player pool for the week, and I'll jump over to you, Burns. Who are you looking at? Like, which quarterbacks are you looking at in your pool? I know the Shark Lab loves the favorites, loves the high total games. You said you like Lamar. Give me some names.
I'm operating under the assumption of favorites, like I always do. I do like. So the Seattle game is going to be a lot. It's going to be owned by me. I do actually like Geno in this game a lot. He checked off every single box that is part of the research that we have done. And I mean, it's extensive. It's like, he's not even just, whereas every other quarterback has one, maybe two boxes that are unchecked. He's across the board, checks every single box. Now, who you pair him with Lockett or Metcalf, if you want to go that route. And I even like Fant in this game too. I think Fant's got he's got a good matchup in this game. So there's a lot of nice pieces on the Seattle side, and there's two pieces on the Las Vegas side that you can operate with. Secondary, I like Herbie this week. I think Justin Herbert has a great matchup against Arizona. I go into it in my article a little bit more intently, but I'm kind of under the impression with Keenan Allen back, I think it just helps. It's similar to like what I said about Kyler Murray a couple weeks back with Hopkins, right? Hopkins was Kyler Murray's charm. He's the guy that makes Kyler Murray go.
He's basically
Keenan Allen is the same thing.
Allen and Hopkins and Keenan Allen are to Kyler Murray and Herbert what Giselle is to Tom Brady.
Yeah. I agree, but I don't know about Giselle.
Better when they're together. It's better when they're together.
Yeah, I agree. No? Keenan Allen as a wide receiver, he's been in the league a long time. Herbert has had a very good rapport with him over the course of the years that they've been together.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, Herbert had his best game of the year last year. There was one unique feature of that game. Keenan Allen was finally back, and it's like it really was like, wow, okay, this is that guy that I remember who was good, because everybody's been asking themselves all season long, what the hell's going on with Herbie? Why does he suck now? Like, he was good. He was a great fantasy. He went QB2 in fantasy draft. Let's not forget.
Yeah.
This guy was in the discussion ahead of Pat Mahomes. As a matter of fact, on average, he would go ahead of Pat Mahomes in drafts this year in your fantasy league. So, and you know who the guys who you want to know who took him? Look at the bottom of your fantasy league at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Look at 9th, 10th, 11th, or 12th place. That's the guy who took Herbert. And I promise you that is the case in every fantasy league across America. Like, he ruined Bobby Wow's looking at his league. He's like, oh shit, yeah, that dude is in 10th. Trust me. You don't have to. I know this for sure. So unless they picked up Fields along the way. So, all right, Herbert, Geno,
I like Geno,
Lamar.
Herbie. The one preface that I wish was he was still out, not for my season-long league, but for DFS, is I wish Everett was out. Because I think Everett being out actually makes Palmer a better play this week.
Okay.
I'm not so sure Palmer's going to be a top play this week like he was last week in the off the main slate, because he exploded for 30 points. I mean, it was like crazy. I like Burrow a lot this week. I think Lamar is just way underowned. It's an ownership play for me. It's a big play that could I actually falter. So
Lamar has not. He's so overpriced. He's overpriced.
He is, but this is what's going to suppress his ownership. He hasn't been performing very well. His ownership is going to be suppressed because he is 8,000 under the second below Mahomes. Most are just going to say, well, I'm just going to go to Mahomes because Mahomes is actually producing. And he is. He's a great week in and out quarterback. And I will have ownership in Mahomes. But you don't have to get too much over top of the field on Lamar. I mean, 10% on Lamar and you're way over the field on him.
I think you were probably looking at like 3 to 4% own Lamar at best here. Even on a weird, disgusting slate for quarterbacks, Burns, he's not going to be held because he only had just 2 games this year that crossed like 20 fantasy points. So it's been rough if you've rostered him, but who cares in tournament? Hey, I'm not touching him in cash. He is not a safe play. Right. In tournaments, you're just looking for the 40 point upside that he has.
Yeah.
On occasion.
And you're right. Quarterbacks aren't very good this week. I mean, the matchups are really tough. I wish the Miami game had a lower spread. As well as I wish the Kansas City game had a lower spread, but they don't, right? It would make it a more competitive game. So we kind of have to look a little bit elsewhere too. And I don't really actually mind Garoppolo this week at all. He showcased down in Mexico that he's an efficient quarterback. He hit Kittle. He's got Debo. He's got CMC. He's got Ayuk, and the guy just performs on a given basis when he needs to. And this may not be it, but if New Orleans keeps this game close because they are actually a good defense, you could see him actually have to throw the ball a lot more in this game. And those targets are going to go to Debo. They're going to go to CMC out on the flat, and they're going to go to Kittle. And don't forget about Ayuk either.
I'm not a fan of Jimmy G.
I know you're not, but
no,
he's one of those guys that I just throw in like 1 or 2 lineups and say, hell with it, man.
I want to I like to iterate that. And Bobby, I want to talk to you and see what you're onto on the QB position. I want to iterate that because sometimes people hear us spit a name out and we got to I like to make it clear. Listen, if Jimmy G makes my mass multi-entry lineups, it's going to be like very minuscule amounts, if any. Because it took 4 touchdowns to get to 25 fantasy points last week. Like, come on, bro. Like, it took 4 touch. I'm not counting on 4 touchdowns. As a matter of fact, I'd rather just bet Jimmy G to put up 4 touchdowns because I could make a boatload of money hitting a plus 1,500 on that. Like, I don't need to play it in DFS at that point because 15x is like great. So, and I'm sure that's about where that prop would be. So, nice. Hey, huzzah. Oh, fooyah. Wait, I've been watching this guy called Uncle Roger on he's hilarious. He criticized the chef, and he's got like a positive where he said fooyah, which is like, that's awesome. So fooyah. I don't know. I think I said the word wrong. Forget what I just said. BobbyWow. Let me move on from that real quick. So quarterback position, kind of weird. Burns just spit out some names here. I think that are all good names for the week. Did you quarterback? Bobby. So we got Lamar, Mahomes, a little Tua, Geno, Lamar, Herbert. What are you seeing at the quarterback position, BobbyWow? Anything different? Are you on the same group? Justin Fields in your mix?
I think I'm on the same group for the most part. A couple GPP flyers that I'll be taking a chance on just to throw them into the mix. And I mentioned both of them. Bryce Perkins, I think he's going to start. If he starts, I'm going to have a couple shares. I think you can even run him out naked. You don't have to stack him with anybody at that price.
Let's explain why, though, what the deal is with Bryce Perkins. Like, what did you see in your research?
All right, you mentioned it earlier in the pod too. He has got rushing upside. He's a guy that ran a ton in college. And look, the game's predicted to be a blowout. I think they let Bryce Perkins run around. If the Chiefs are up by, 20, 30 points, he'll have tons of space to do whatever he wants if they're playing prevent or sitting back. I just think at 5K, a rushing quarterback, I always have interest. So again, chances are he stinks. He's a third string quarterback, but I like taking some shots there. The other place, I mentioned this too, Kyler Murray. I just think there's a lot there to like. I'm excited about Kyler. I think the defense he's up against, I believe they're like the fourth worst in terms of fantasy points allowed to quarterbacks. So there's some things about Kyler I like. Last GPP piece, and this is deep GPP. I'll have some shares of Trevor Lawrence. You mentioned people are forgetting about Christian Kirk. Trevor Lawrence is really, really cheap this week. He seems to be heating up as a passer. He's another guy that can run the ball in as a rusher. And so I'll be taking a couple shots on Trevor Lawrence.
Okay. I like that.
I'll answer Hunter's question on this. Yeah. It makes sense to run it back with a Christian Kirk in that game.
Yeah, and Hunter's absolutely nailed it just there. Nobody is more sensitive to the opponent than Lamar at this point.
Yep.
The way that the Ravens approach these games, they will lean on whatever crusty old running back they have if they're leading that game. They don't even care if it's Devonta Freeman. They're like, all right, let's run Devonta out there. Or now it'll be probably Gus Edwards and Kenyon Drake. And do not play. Somebody asked, do not do this. Do not pair Lamar with Kenyon Drake at all. That is a big no-no.
I gave him the stack options.
Yeah. Sky Moore is the better KC wide receiver at this point than Justin Watson as well. So Kadarius Toney will not play. Tony has actually done it again in terms of being that guy who's always hurt and disappointed us. I was hoping for so much more from Tony.
I know. I was hoping for more when he was with the Giants, but it just didn't matriculate.
No, I mean, but then the new scenery, I kind of felt like this is it.
Yeah.
No. Sky Moore looked legit out there last week. He looked like an NFL wide receiver. I think Sky Moore is actually going to be very good. This team brings their rookies along slowly. Sky Moore is good. He's a good player. I think Hardman is done for the season. I don't know what the hell's going on with Valdez-Scantling, but his role seems to diminish week after week. I don't think Valdez-Scantling is honestly very good. Neither is Juju. He's not very good. So, Bobby, you're on mute, by the way. Just
no, I know.
Okay.
He's not good. MVS
I just don't think he's that good. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be mean, but anything else at the QB? Because you shocked me with the Trevor Lawrence play. I didn't think of it. Didn't even occur to me. But you know what? Baltimore, yeah, they're attackable. I like it.
I'd like to see him. I'd like to see him like throw and keep it close here. All right, it could be a shootout game.
And again, don't expect much. Like Lawrence has not exactly been putting up 30s this season, but a mid-20 score in his best of days is within the realm. Although I think Travis Etienne would be in that discussion as well. And I probably, like, if I had to bring it back, I'm just as happy to use Etienne as I am like a Christian Kirk. All right, so let's talk about running backs here, because running back, actually, here's what I love about this week. The running back. So quarterback, kind of weird. Don't love it. Running back, exciting. And let's talk about these running backs, because I'm excited about the running back position this week across the board, especially because I could save a lot of money at running back, and that's my favorite thing to do. So we're going to start at the top. Christian McCaffrey, I think, and I'm just going to, guys, stop me. I'm trying to like push through. Stop me if you have a different thought on one of these guys, but I'm just going to go over it and like give me a signal if you kind of think it different. Then we'll get into the group, and I want to talk out with you guys the group that I really like. But right up top, McCaffrey just not seeing enough volume to justify 9K. I'm sorry. I love you, CM Sizzles. You're my guy. Girlfriend, freaking smoke show. Follow her on Instagram. I downloaded Instagram for Christian McCaffrey's girlfriend. That upsets Bobby so much. If you saw, you would understand. But he himself, you know who else? She's got a twin sister that's dating Braxton Berrios from the Jets. What? Imagine bringing Braxton Berrios and getting the same girl that Christian McCaffrey got. Different levels of football player. Anyway, he's not doing enough to justify a 9K price point. 36 fantasy points, split in touches. No. So Austin Eckler, yeah, if I want to pay up for a running back, he's fine. I think I like him better than McCaffrey at this point, but also I'm not really trying to hang out in this expensive running back zone. Derrick Henry, sure. I love him in the Burrow bringbacks more than anything else, though, and I'll probably reserve him for that. Derrick Henry's always a good play. But again, a little bit expensive. Let me ask you a question. Josh Jacobs is dangerously close in salary to Derrick Henry. Are these two, I mean, between this trio right here, or let's group these four into a quado, a foursome. Eckler, Henry, Chubb, and Jacobs. And again, Chubb, I just generally don't play Chubb in these kind of spots. He doesn't tend to do enough. Although I like him, he's got a great floor. He doesn't tend to win you a tournament. So Eckler, Henry, and Jacobs, I'm skipping Chubb. And let's just go around here. BobbyWow, from that trio, do you have a preference? Is that a group? Is anybody you'll be high on in this group, or it's kind of the same for you? How do you see this trio?
I think it's in order of how I would rank them. I love Eckler this week. I think Henry's a fine play. I love to hate Josh Jacobs. I love to see his projected ownership climb up to 20% with his price. Feels like he's priced pretty high. So I know the matchup is good. I know the paper, he looks really good on paper, but I kind of like being underweight on Jacobs just because he's so close to Henry and Eckler. It's hard to get there for me.
You know, his touchdown. So if we go to the Sharp app, to the props tool, and you bring up to score a touchdown, right? And you look up these names. Henry, as of yesterday, when I was actually looking this up, Derrick Henry, the props weren't out yet for him. So I don't know the number. My guess is Derrick Henry's probably in the range of like a minus 200 to score a touchdown in that game, which would be the best. But Jacobs, Chubb, they're all around the 150, minus 150. Walker, same.
Mm-hmm.
Jacobs, Walker. The thing I love about Jacobs is you're looking at 26 to 28 touches per game in recent weeks. It's a lot of freaking volume. I mean, Henry gets that kind of volume too. Here's 24 attempts, 3 more receptions. It's kind of what you would expect. You know, it's like what we're getting out of him. 27, 28 touches, a lot of touches. Derrick Henry about the same, right? You get 28 carries, 2 targets. That gets you about 30. You're getting very similar. Eckler does it via the pass, which is always, very sexy when it's working out. Any preferences here, Burns, amongst this group?
No, I'm
BobbyWow, you like Eckler the best of them.
I do.
Yeah.
I'd say I'm probably 1-2 Eckler, Henry, and then it's Jacobs for me.
I like it. Guys who are watching, let us know who, give us your order of your favorite running backs from the elite tier. Even if you want to include McCaffrey and Nick Chubb, great. It's interesting for me that I stopped at Jacobs. I'm not interested in Kamara. I do think Kenny Walker and Josh Jacobs are basically the same play, and you could get basically Josh Jacobs for almost 1,000 less with Kenny Walker. Yes. And that's another reason why, if I'm doing kind of this, 26-3, this was a tough game at Tampa, whatever. But more often than not, he's getting you 20-ish. Even the Tampa game, look at all those targets, by the way. Look at that.
He's a great play this week.
Kenny Walker, you ready for this, guys? Potentially. Definitely a top 3 dynasty running back going forward. Top 4 draft pick.
Yes.
Next season for your fantasy football league. Don't sleep on Kenny Walker. I've been trading for him everywhere. Travis Etienne, less good matchup. I'm disappointed in Etienne's passing game work, but I still love Travis Etienne. I think he's good chalk, but actually, Tone, you're going to see that there are some other great plays even cheaper. So let's go. We're gonna get to this sort of cheaper zone of running backs. I think Etienne and Connor are in Montgomery. This whole group here in Pierce, by the way, I feel like this is no man's land.
I actually like Connor the best out of all of them.
His matchup is juicy.
It is it's the most optimal matchup that you can have on paper.
I know.
It is so nice, but
he's not going to be owned.
Can he succeed in that matchup? I don't. That's my hesitation with him.
You're right. It's as good as it gets. The Chargers. Do I have my chart up here? Chargers.
They're like second worst defense against the run.
They're
in the
terrible.
main slate.
Actually, Cleveland has gone up in badness. But if you take a look at these points against numbers, Cleveland is now officially the worst team against running backs. Houston right there with them. And we'll get to that Houston matchup, which is going to be spectacular core play upcoming. But Chargers are right down there with them. And note that they're the only 3 teams that have red against the running back at all. It's just these 3. And then, you have some bad but not horrible teams. And what this number implies is that the Chargers allow almost 6.5 points per game above mean expectation to opposing running backs on the season. And this is an adjusted ranking, so it does adjust for opponent quality. This isn't like a linear DVP like that number you see on DraftKings when it'll show a little number. That is not what this is. This is a higher level. Jimmy Connor, the Terminator. No one likes to play Connor. I don't like to play Connor.
And when he's 3% to 5% owned is when he burns you.
Yeah.
Yep. When he's 20% owned, he kills you the other way. Like he will lay.
He gets hurt on the first play. We know what he does. 5
to 10 points, and you're like, why did I play this guy? He had such a great matchup, but it's when he's 3 to 5%, he just explodes.
Lenny is definitely not healthy. He is out this week. If you're talking about Fournette, so he is already out, and he's already out. He's already out.
Yeah, I was waiting for his status, but now that you've let me know that he's completely out.
We got an international comment talking about soccer, the other football.
Yeah, I heard they tied England.
Did they?
0-0.
You're kidding.
Yeah, I saw that come across the phone. I was like, oh, sweet.
Nice. Is that what my phone was exploding over a few minutes ago?
Yeah.
All right, nice. All right, so we talked about some of these running backs. I'm loving this. I'm loving this zone. So yeah, Uncle Lenny, I see why people are mentioning him because he's so cheap. But no, he is out this week. He's doubtful. Do not expect Lenny to play. So from this medium-sized group, James Conner. All right. Obviously, we love Kenny Walker, sub 7K. BobbyWow, you mentioned Montgomery. I don't think I'm getting there. Jets.
Oh, no. I don't love Montgomery. I was just saying if I had to pick between him and Fields, I'm probably going Montgomery.
That's fair. That's fair. And another one is Dameon Pierce. Like if this was a normal slate, I'd probably have some interest in Dameon Pierce as well at this price. I kind of like the fact that Kyle Allen's the quarterback. Like I said, it can't get worse. It's got to be better or the same.
Yeah.
But and Miami's not a difficult matchup for running backs, but like, I'm going to tell you why I think this is your guy here. Talk about matchups. Let us put these numbers back up on screen. You know who the worst team is, or the second worst, right behind Cleveland? Sorry, Scotty, about your Brownies being terrible against the run. Not my fault, just the numbers. But Scott gets so mad. Houston, horrible. They're the team to target with opposing running backs. Raheem Mostert, probably out. He's doubtful right now, which leaves Jay Wizzles as the only guy running the ball for the Dolphins. Now, the Dolphins are not a heavy run approach team, but Houston funnels the run.
Mm-hmm.
They funnel the run. We'll get to Lenny's replacement because I love him this week. But he funnels the run. I love Jeff Wilson. Jeff Wilson to me is core play. Burns, am I off my gird here? Just loading up.
This is the play right here. Jeff Wilson home favored against the second worst rush defense in the NFL. Yeah, give me some, please.
BobbyWow, unfriend you, fade the chalk. What's going on?
I can't fade the chalk in this spot. You're absolutely right. JWJ's core play.
Yeah, love him. Okay, so we're in agreement. Now we're going to find some other great plays here, sub 6K, which makes this slate fun. This is a slate where we can play all these Devontae Adams. Okay. We're going to play studly wide receivers because we're going to pay down at running back. This is why I don't need Eckler as much as we like him. I don't need him. You know why?
Totally.
Let's keep rolling down the numbers here, right? Kenny Fournette is out. Drake, hell no. Mostert, out. Gus Edwards, fuck no. Samaje Perine, interesting. He will get all of the touches in a difficult running back matchup, but with the high propensity for passing work to the running back, he's in my mix. That's what it is. He's in my mix. I'm not core. He's in my mix.
He just does everything right, man. He blocks well. He catches passes really, really well. It plays at 110% every snap. Good things that seem to happen when he's on the field. So I like it.
Yeah. Not a good matchup, by the way. Titans' strength at our defense is against the run. Again, I will bring up our numbers here. So Tennessee, 4 points below, almost 5 points. So wait, you can't see it. Hold on. Our heads are in the way. I don't know if people can see this, but Tennessee allowing almost 5 points below mean expectation to opposing running backs on the season. That is horrible. They're very, very good. The only reason, but the thing is with Perine, listen, he does a lot of catching of passes, so that kind of negates that a little bit. And
he's a wide receiver out of the backfield, and if Jamar Chase is out, it's clear that Burrow loves dumping to him I think he scored 3 touchdowns last week, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean that was an anomaly.
Totally, but I'm just saying they like funneling to him near the goal line.
They were all passes. Nick, you are correct. So that's an interesting one. I do not expect him to repeat any of what happened. I wish he didn't have that smash last week, if I'm being honest. I don't think that helps the ownership cause at all. But wait, there's more. We are not done with cheap running backs that are supremely viable here. The best one may still be yet to come, which is crazy because we already talked about Jeff Wilson and how does it get better? It can. So there's so many of these. Isaiah Pacheco, we already talked about it. Why not Pacheco? He's the starter. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is out. Why wouldn't they lean on Pacheco in that spot? They should. Massive favorites. Sure. But he's not even the best. Antonio Gibson. Michael Carter. You could play Michael Carter. What are you, nuts? You're going to play Michael Carter? It's playable. Burns, you're smiling. Burns, talk to me about Michael Carter, Gibson. Talk to me about these guys. I know BobbyWow doesn't like anybody against the Bears. Ever.
Yeah, I know.
That's not true. That's not true.
I know. I'm just kidding. He's not. I'm just kidding.
He likes money more than he likes the Bears. I know that for sure.
Yeah.
Like we all do, right?
100%.
Oh, man. Yeah. The only difficult part about Michael Carter is that he's got Robinson there. And having Robinson there, Robinson and him are almost splitting the carries. So it's kind of like, I don't know.
Let me show it on screen. This is
it's really close. If they're not splitting, it's real close.
So this is an important distinction to make. So I don't want to mess this up by throwing a guess out there. So here's what we saw last week with these two.
That's Washington.
Yeah, Gibson and Robinson, right?
Yeah.
That's no. I thought you were talking about James Robinson.
We're talking about James Robinson.
Yeah. Robinson Carter. Hold
yeah.
on. I did not have a big distinction there. All right, so let's take a look and see what we got. Carter, 50. Actually,
that snaps. The rushes. That's what's important.
Rushes, here. 50, 30, 25. Okay, yeah.
Carter's starting to take the lead.
Carter took a little bit of but Carter's small. Like Carter is not going to emerge as the lead back here, guys. The Jets don't want Carter in that role. He's not a large running back. He's small. I think he was 200 pounds.
And here's the true area of caution for me, Geek. It's that Mike White's the quarterback. The Bears are going to be able to hone in more on the run than they typically are able to do. So
why? Because they're so scared of Zach Wilson. What are you talking about? Zach Wilson sucks.
I think Zach Wilson has more upside than Mike White. Jeez.
No.
You got to account for Zach Wilson's legs, and now you don't. So I think the Bears can. Again, whatever. I wouldn't play these running backs with Zach Wilson either, so it doesn't change anything.
No, I don't like any of this.
But they can focus on the run. That's what I'm saying.
This is GPP only. I don't even know why I mentioned it. This is GPP only. There are better running backs, and we're going to get to them. So there's so many good ones in this zone, though. But so let's just say it. Pacheco, GPP only, fine. Carter, GPP only, fine. Gibson, and that was the guy I was trying to show you before. 70% of the touches. He's legitimately playable here against Atlanta. As crazy as this guy's never scored over 22 fantasy points in a game that I can recall, even when he was a full starter, even when he had no competition. But I feel like he's playable in this spot.
Yes.
Yep.
And they were giving him rushing attempts near the goal line last week, which you usually see that to Robinson. So something's going on.
They're souring. That's what I was trying to show you before, since I so rudely misheard that we were talking about Robinson and not this Robinson. Two Robinsons. But 67% to 33%. There is a legitimate split going on here where Gibson is out there more frequently. So Gibson getting some targets. Playable. He's playable. But that's still not the best of them. I feel like the anticipation is building up as we keep going down and down in price. This is making this week exciting. Let me tell you something. Running back in the flex on DraftKings. So I told you on Wednesday, tight end in the flex for the Thursday slate. It's running back in the flex for the Sunday slate with all this value. You can't even pick between these guys. Rashad White. All right. Now, my boy Tone in the chat said, hey, is Fournette's backup good? The answer is yes, he is good. Rashad White, rookie, one of the best pass-catching running backs that came out of college this past season. And really that we've, in the upper echelon of all-time pass-catching college running backs. Look good running the football last week, 22 rushes, 105 yards. They didn't even bother to throw it to him. I don't know why that phenomenon happened with no targets, but he's been getting targeted all season to the tune. And these are games, these 3 and 4 target games, he was not even the starter. He was like getting 30%, and he was getting all of this passing game work. 5. Look at these targets, 5, 4, 4, 4, 3, 4, 3. This was as sort of the backup scat back guy. He's a large-bodied running back designed to take up DFS Underground's just like, I'm doing the opposite of what you say. I just watch this to know what you're doing so I can do the opposite. That's okay too. That's fine. Rashad White, full workload. BobbyWow, is this a core play? Can I load up on this guy? And you guys in the chat as well. Are you down to load up on some Rashad? We already talked about Jeff Wilson. Is Rashad core? Is he a core viable play at 5,100?
On paper, there's really no argument against it. I mean, we saw last game, he took the job from Lenny anyway. Injury or not, Rashad White won this running back job because he is the real deal. like you said, big running back, can bowl people over, but also catches passes really, really well. So the matchup, I think this is literally the best matchup on the slate in terms of defense bleeding points to a running back.
It's Cleveland.
Yes.
Yep.
It's fucking Cleveland. This is nuts.
I love it. I love it, Geek. Yeah, he's more core for me than Jeff Wilson.
I think so too. I just want to like make sure we're all on the same page here, that this is the best play on the slate for the price, for the matchup, and I love Wilson. For the price, for the matchup, the pass catching role, what more can you ask for than Rachaad White this week? Burns?
It's a good on paper. This matchup is so ideal, right? This is with Wilson. They're the top two matchups on paper. I think Wilson will be more. I'm with you guys. I love this play. I think it's a great play. I'll have more Wilson than I'll have Rachaad White, but it'll be very close in percentage. It'll be very close.
I'm telling you, I don't even know. I'm so excited about these cheap running backs. What this is going to cause is for me to have very, very minuscule exposure to those upper priced running backs. And for everybody who's watching, and guys, give us comments. What do you think about this? Cheap running backs double down. I'm going to tell you what the field normally does, guys. And there's one more cheapie that we haven't even got to yet, who's also core worthy, but these other two are so much better core worthy that the third guy I'm not excited about. Here's the thing, and I'm going to say this again, as I've said many, many times. Fournette is not playing, guys. Fournette is out.
And the Bucs have been running the ball. I mean, Rachaad White got 22 carries last game.
Yeah, I don't know why this thought that they don't run the football. They run the football plenty.
They didn't run the ball that much in the beginning of the year. So that's all part of that DVOA metric that you're seeing.
They're running the ball. They're running the ball plenty against the worst rush defense in the league. That's right. The Browns are worse. They got worse than Houston. So, fucking Josiah. What's up, Josiah? What are you in the car?
Hey,
where are you going?
No, I didn't want you guys to make me live.
Where are you going? All right.
I was like, I'm just gonna play mod duty.
Okay, all right, man. I'm pulling you out from the car.
Bye, guys.
All right. So check this out. Check this out. Guys in the chat, let us know what you think about these cores. Who are your core running backs for the week?
I'll give you a reason why I'm a little bit more on Jeff Wilson than I am on Rachaad. Reason why is Tampa Bay is the favored away team. Historically, it hasn't been where winning million maker lineups project well with away favored running backs. Home favored running backs, on the other hand, is nearing 90% ownership in winning million maker lineups this year.
That's a fair.
So I will load up on Jeff Wilson, and that's why I'll have a slight tier down to Rachaad White.
When I talk about loading up on these guys, I'm going to tell you something. So this is the point I wanted to make before, and I'm glad I didn't forget because I almost did. The Josiah showing up just like threw me off my thought for a second. So people always think that paying down for two running backs, it's too chalky. I can't do that. Everybody's going to do that. No one's going to do it.
Nobody
and this is really what I want to emphasize. People don't like doing that. They don't want to take all of the value. They want to mix a cheap with an expensive. These aren't even cheap enough, but these 5K guys, people don't feel comfortable playing a lot of them in their lineups. I'm telling you, it will not be a high-owned combination like you think. People think it's going to be too high-owned. I can't play Wilson and White. That's like so high-owned. It won't be. It will not be a high-owned combo. You can play it and feel confident and don't feel like a donkey because you're not. The donkeys are the people who are saying not to play it. Fuck those donkeys. Listen to the Geek. Fuck those donkeys. Don't take the value. I'm taking the value. I'm accepting it. I'm absorbing it, drinking it, swishing it around, gurgling, drink it down. Take the value in. Don't be afraid of the value. And wait, there's more. We're not even done yet. Wait, forgot about Lats Murray.
That's why I said I love this slate, guys. This is why
I'm ignoring Cam Akers because I don't even want. No, it's a bridge too far. Lats Murray, against Carolina. The only guy. They don't have any other running backs on the roster. There's no one else. They're bringing up practice squad backups. They were so sick of Melvin Gordon that they just let him. They're like, fuck you, and you're fumbling. By the way, how do you fumble like 8 times in a season for real? That you have to actively not give a shit to do that. I think like Melvin Gordon was happy to get released. He's like, as long as you pay me, I don't care. Is that BobbyWow? Why did he fumble 9 times?
I don't know. Maybe he's trying to do too much. He's trying to ignite the offense, and he's getting a little risky. I don't know, Geek.
He actively doesn't give a shit. That's fine.
I disagree. I don't know.
You know what they say the millennials do now? Not the millennials. The Gen Zers do. All right. I watch the TikToks on occasion. There's a phenomenon called silent quitting. And that's where instead of actually quitting your job, you just suck at it and allow yourself to get fired. That's what Melvin Gordon was doing. He's just like, how many times are you going to let me fumble on the 2 before you realize I'm doing this on purpose? Because I have a 9-year career where I didn't fumble all the time, and now I'm doing it this year. Like, what do you think? I got bad at holding onto the football? He's like, no, I just don't care.
Yeah, I'm excited to see where he's.
You don't
he's
agree
7
with
months.
theory.
He's only 7 months older than Derrick Henry. That blew my mind.
Derrick Henry's old too. But
Crazy.
wait, you don't agree with my theory of silent quitting.
If the kids are saying it, Geek, then I'm on board.
Now, guys, if you guys have been here with us an hour and 16 minutes into Tournament Tactics, and let's say you're not currently signed up at DFS Army as a subscriber, right? You love the shows. You're watching the channel. Subscribe to the channel. We love you. We appreciate you, and we love having you on the show and watching. But if you're not subscribed to DFS Army, it is Black Friday, and we can't let Black Friday pass without a DFS Army promotion. You know that. We can't let it pass. So for the rest of the weekend, guys, promo code Black Friday will get the first month of DFS Army VIP knocked in half. You can see what we're all about. You guys watching us, hanging with the crew every week with the Tournament Tactics guys. If you want to check out DFS Army, you can use promo code Black Friday because, of course, we got to jump on that. And you get the first month of DFS Army for 50% off. That is a special promotion. We don't do those. 50% off, promo code Black Friday. It is good until Sunday, but don't wait till Sunday. Do it right now because you're going to forget. Do it right now. Get signed up, DFS Army, VIP, promo code Black Friday. Get a month of DFS Army VIP for $35. That is less than the price of a cup of coffee.
And guess what? A cup of coffee doesn't win you money.
Yeah. Yeah, I get really good coffee. That's why. It's my coffee. I don't play games. All right, so running back keeps going. One
thing to note about Latz, super quick, he's catching passes as well. That surprised me, but he's being targeted in the passing game. So
yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, no question. So you know what? I pulled out. It's funny that you mentioned this. I pulled out a ton of money from my DraftKings account. Like the bulk of it, I actually pulled out of it because of that breach the other day. But like this to me was, I know I don't want to. It's like I left like my usable amount. Don't steal my money, guys. Don't steal it, but don't take it. Don't hack my account. I got fucking 2FA on it now. I got the 2-factor. Side note, it's really annoying to have 2-factor authentication on your DraftKings. It's like so annoying, especially on the sportsbook, because it logs you out every, like in a minute, it logs you out. It's super annoying. So I don't know. DraftKings, get your shit together. Figure it out. It's fucking annoying. All right. Cam Akers. Are we interested in Cam Akers at all? Like, is that the name? No,
but I'll tell you who I am interested in. If you are scared of the chalk and want to pivot, Kyron Williams is the guy that I'm. And here's why. They want to see what he's got. We mentioned it last week. His snap counts continue to increase. Happened again last week. He outsnapped Akers like 2 or 3 to 1.
Same
they
price.
Did not like Akers.
You know, it's funny. Yeah. By the way, we had some subscribers. We had some members have their hacks also. This is not unique. Like we had members have this happen to them. So be careful with your DraftKings account. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to tell you. I called my rep. I was like, they're like, yeah, don't worry about it. It's fine. I was like, all right. Didn't make me not worry about it. Kyron. So I had a choice this week in season long on which of these two running backs to add because they were both available. And first I went Kyron, then I canceled it. And I'm like, no, it's got to be Cam. And then I canceled it. And I was like, nah, fuck that. He sucks. I'm going to go back to Kyron. And then I was like, you know what? I'm not spending my if I can't figure out which one of these guys, I'm not doing it. And then I just didn't do it. I don't know.
Which is the best move, probably.
Yeah, legit. Like that happened. I'm not making up a story. That happened. I had it in, and I'm like, cancel that. I'm switching it. And then I canceled it again, and I'm switching it. And then I was like, you know what? I don't know which of these guys they're going to go with. I have no clue. I don't know what they're going to do. So then I was like, what am I doing here? I'm not wasting my fob. Neither one. And I kind of think they're both going to suck. No, that's what I'm saying. No, we're not playing him. Let's be real. We told you the core.
I am playing him. I will have 10 to 12% Kyron.
You're
10% Kyron.
Maniac. There's no way I'm going 12%.
Here's why. Okay. Let me give you two reasons. One, his snap count has ticked up every week. I'll give you three reasons. Two, the Rams and the beat writers continue to talk about how he's going to be featured more and more. And three, a third string quarterback starting. What do we know about third string quarterbacks? They like their tight ends and they like dumping it off to their running backs. Kyron Williams is a pass catching back. We haven't seen it yet this season. He catches passes. I'm just saying. There's a couple of reasons to be interested.
So check this out. If we're looking at these numbers, Kyron Williams, 55% of the snaps, but only 23% of the rushes last week. So why would that have been? So they had him out there more, but Akers ended up getting a few more carries. But only Kyron got targets. He got a couple of targets in the guy. Listen, part of the problem is like I don't know that this quarterback is good enough to deliver effective targets to the running back position. I don't know. I don't know if he's not, but I don't know if he is. Listen, I love the call. I love the confidence, BobbyWow. There's so many great running back plays. Like who's going to play him? So you're going to get him at 0 ownership. I just think you don't need 12%. He's going to be 1% owned. You can get 4% or 5%, and you can leverage the shit out of him there.
Sure.
So it's just like you don't need to go too high. This guy will be sub 1% owned or 1%-ish range. So you could just get there with like a few points. But Burns, any thoughts on these guys or the running back position beyond what we've been talking about?
I mean, there's so much value that how this is going to work is you're going to see a lot of value, and it's going to allow you to get up to those WRs that are in great spots that are higher in salary. And that's just a great thing for us because those guys are the guys that tend to blow up.
That's exactly how this is exactly how I see the slate going down. I think we're paying for wide receivers. I think we're saving on running backs. And I might use 3 of these guys. I might use 2 of them and one pair. I think the least likely thing you will see, the most unique lineup will be 3. If you take 3 players, 6 to 5K, and there are good ones, Wilson, Latz Murray, Rashad White, all 3 could be considered core plays this week. And I fucking love Walker as well for slightly more. I don't mind a bunch of these other names, but that foursome, you could mix and match. You could play a running back in the flex, even on DraftKings this week. I wish I knew the FanDuel price. I should look up. Wait a minute. Are they as bargainful on FanDuel?
I can check.
Yeah, I don't think they're as great, most of them. But I didn't memorize the FanDuel pricing across. Like, I don't know what Rashad White is on FanDuel, for example. I don't think the deals, the price point are as cheap. But yeah, and I think if you needed to fade one, Latz Murray with that Q tag. Is that the scariest, BobbyWow? Latz Murray with the Q tag? Like he's so old.
He doesn't have the injury designation anymore. So
they took it off.
They took it off, but still, I mean, absolutely, he's the scariest one.
Yeah. So that would be that'd probably be the way I would go on the fade side. Let's run through the wide receiver position a little bit, since we kind of have figured out that a big approach to this slate is going to be maybe pay up at wide receiver and paying down at running back. So let's take a look at some of the pay up options at wide receiver. And it starts, so I think you could separate these into tranches and the super elite tranche of Reek and Adams always is going to be. I think they stand out above the crowd, both in how much they cost and their potential outlook. And in a weird twist, I think this is the first week, maybe all season, that I might favor Devontae Adams a little bit over Tyreek Hill, but I want to kind of get your opinion on this pairing, and you guys as well. Like, let us know which one. If you have a choice between Reek and Adams for your last spot, where are you going in your lineup?
Go ahead,
Burns.
I would go with Hopkins or Adams only because of the matchup. I think Tyreek's got the matchup with Houston. They actually are pretty good against wide receivers. So I think the matchup with Devontae Adams. But I kind of like Hopkins better than all the other two of them. You know,
There we go.
I think Hopkins is my one, and then it goes Adams, and then it goes Hill. That's kind
and you're
of
not worried about Hollywood Brown coming back, sucking up some of those targets?
He's going to get it, but I mean, he's coming off of an injury, so they might ease him in. So who knows? Who knows how that game's going to go with them?
Tough to know with that one. Jamar Chase, I don't really expect much from. Game time decision. What do you do, BobbyWow, if Chase plays? Do you treat it like he was a game time decision? We find out Sunday at noon, this guy's in.
Yeah, if this is Darius Slayton, it's a fade for me. You know, but Jamar Chase, absolutely. I think the general feeling of the field will be if he's coming off an injury, they're less excited about him. We love Burrow this week. I think if he plays, I'll definitely try to be 2x the field.
That's fair. For me, Waddle is exclusively a guy I would play with Tua. So I'm not going to get into him too much. He's a Tua guy. T. Higgins probably, I think, can you play T. Higgins as a standalone play, Burns, even in a non-Burrow lineup?
In this matchup, you can. Tennessee is really bad against wide receivers, so I believe you can use T. Higgins here. We do. I definitely think people will be scared to play Chase because of the Q tag and the whole thing. So, and with Higgins, I totally agree. It's such a good matchup. Tennessee is such a pass funnel. And Chase comes in, but operates as a distraction. T. Higgins is priced above his historical norm salary. He's more of a 6,500 guy, but he's not that crazy priced relative to the usual.
Yeah.
Going down the list, Mike Evans has yet to pay off his salary since about week 1. Fewer targets most weeks than Godwin. That's a tough trigger to pull. For me, it's funny. I want to play these pay up for wide receivers, and I'm kind of like not loving them either. But who's our core out of this group? So from Hill down to Kirk, this whole expensive zone here. Give me your 3 favorites, BobbyWow, in order.
Oh man. Assuming Chase plays or doesn't play.
Assuming he plays.
I'm going to go DeAndre Hopkins as my number 1.
Interesting.
Tyreek Hill as my number 2, and Jamar Chase as my number 3.
So sticking with the studs.
Yeah, caution against Devontae Adams. The Seahawks are very good against wide receivers. They held Keenan Allen and Mike Williams to 15 fantasy points. They held Hopkins to single-digit fantasy points. They held Olave. They shut Olave down. This is a good pass defense. So he's not even on my radar in the pay-ups right now.
How about you, Bert?
Out of that, if we're going to utilize from all the way down to Kirk, I'd say my 1 is Hopkins. I would say going down to Kirk, I would say Higgins could be 2, 3, and then I kind of like Kirk this week too, so I could have that's kind of how I could go. I agree with Bobby with Adams. If it's just between Hopkins, Adams, and Hill, I had my order there. But if I'm opening it up a little bit more and Chase is there, maybe they use Chase as that decoy guy and Higgins is the guy this week. I don't know. We'll see how it plays out, right?
Tough to get super confident in him, but you're right. Seattle 5 points below mean expectation to the wide receiver position. So they are, certainly well above average this season so far, facing opposing wide receivers.
Do you think in this in this grouping here, do you think Mike Evans goes under owned?
Yeah. I don't know about under owned. He will not be high owned because he just hasn't done it in so long. Look at how long it's been since he's paid off a 7K salary, 7-14-28. I mean, he's got to be in the high 20s.
Yeah, I think if he goes off, Brady could go off.
I think that's fine. I think if you are playing Evans, yeah, consider having Brady in that lineup. And Godwin's going to be popular as well. He gets double-digit targets most week and still only gets you like 12 or 13 points, but at least he's getting double-digit targets. Now, Olave, not a great matchup at San Francisco. Just not a great matchup. Christian Kirk, though, got to like him. Metcalf and Lockett, basically the same play, in my opinion. Not a great play for either, although much better with Geno than as a standalone in my mind. Amari Cooper had the big week last week. Why not Cooper again? How good was Cooper last week? Like every time I looked up, he was on red zone, just scoring a touchdown.
The matchup is brutal for him, but yeah, I mean he looked good.
Yeah, it's not the best of matchups. Tampa Bay.
He gets Carlton Davis.
They're at the bottom.
And how good is Carlton Davis? Yeah, I mean, this defense has been very good. It's just been Tampa's defense has just been very strong. Let me just put on screen what Christian Kirk did last week so people can remember. If he didn't have a bye week, Christian Kirk would be pretty chalky this week. 21-pointer followed by a 35er. 105 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I didn't know we were going down to him, Burnsy, but I'm with you. He's probably behind D-Hop he's my second favorite wide receiver.
There it is.
In terms of yes.
Yeah, T-Law and Kirk that connection is 1-2, man. They're lighting it up right now. I don't even think T-Law cares about anybody else anymore.
Yeah, nothing wrong with a little Christian Kirk here. Again, Field forgot that he was as good as he was, or maybe they haven't, but the early ownerships definitely did. But who the hell knows? So, I like a lot of these spots. One of my favorites, well, I'm going down a little bit in price here, but in this next level is Keenan Allen.
Yeah.
6,100. Like, this is a better version of the Godwin play. Like Godwin, but better because Herbert's the QB, not Brady, and Herbert is not horrible right now. So, I really like the Keenan Allen play. He's healthy. He's way underpriced. This is also underpriced for his traditional salary. So
he's usually 7K.
Yeah, that's right. He's a 7K, maybe 7,200. He goes 71, 72, even with Mike Williams in games. So like at 6K, he was injured for a while. Bargain gift that they're giving us. I really like that spot.
Where do you think Godwin ends up with ownership and Allen ends up with ownership this week on DraftKings?
I think Keenan Allen will will be higher owned than Godwin.
Think so?
Yeah, definitely.
I love Godwin too. I think they're both two of my favorite wide receivers on the slate.
Yeah, you want to save some salary. So I'm saying if you just you start making a lineup, 2 of these guys. Some people mentioned McLaurin, also fine, but you could really start a lineup with 2 of these types. Go with one of your favorites up here, even a Hopkins, whatever. It doesn't matter who. Higgins, Hopkins, whatever.
And that's why I like Eckler, guys. I think one thing you're going to see is the play, at least in my opinion, is you pay up at one running back, you pay up for one wide receiver just because there's not that many options, and then you basically punt the core plays at running back for the other running back slot in the flex. I think that's the path to the million this week.
I don't even think you need to pay up a running back. That's what I'm saying. I think
you don't have to, but I'm just saying, how else are you going to spend your? I don't like some of these guys.
Mark
up top,
Andrews, Travis Kelce, you can pay up a tight end. So you could spend it at tight end. Give me the cheapest viable defense, guys. Houston, Miami, no. Rams, no. Saints, no.
Kansas City.
Yeah, Chiefs. Okay, there we go. Yeah. Yes, correct. Perfect. So Kansas City, your cheapest viable defense against the rookie. Oh yeah, load up, all in, right? 5,100 left. So now, and this is a pretty middling approach to the slate. I throw in Everett, finish it off with, another stud running back, McLaurin. I mean, there's so many ways to go from here. You could go to Lats Murray if you want. So, yeah, could go to Lats Murray, White, Wilson, have 800 left to spend wherever I want. I'd get off of Godwin at that point, probably go to, Evans or Olave or Kirk there. Oh,
yeah, there you go.
that looks good. Right? So 3 cheap running backs, expensive quarterback, all in Chiefs defense. Although I think we might find another defense.
Chiefs and the Jets.
Yeah, Jets defense is really good too. I don't
Jets
think
Jets at 3.3K, and then I got one for Bobby, 3.2K with the Bears.
I like the Bears. I think the punt defense. The punt defense for me is the Saints.
Yeah.
I don't think you need to punt that low. I'd rather get up to the Chiefs. I don't think you want to do that. I'm telling you, there is points to be had on defense this week like never before with all of these backup quarterbacks playing. San Francisco, fine, but I don't even need to. I think Chiefs are the best defensive play by far, going up against a combination of Wolford or whatever. And then there's the Bears play is less crazy than it sounds. This kid, Mike White, was an interception machine when he played the last couple games last season. Like he threw 3-4 interceptions a game. Like it was crazy. I don't think it'll be like that this time though. This time it'll be different.
Don't forget about the Broncos against Sam Darnold.
I was just going to say it. Samwise, the blind, is playing. Did you hear what I called him?
Samwise Gamgee, the blind. Yeah.
The blind. Because he doesn't see defensive backs or his wide receivers. All he sees are ghosts.
How bad is Baker Mayfield if Sam Darnold's going to start over him?
Baker Mayfield is very, very bad.
So
he's
bad.
very, very,
very bad.
So bad.
He sucks. He's not good. He's Baker. There's an argument like that Taylor Heineke is like better than he's not even a really good backup. He's just an okay back. He's like a middle of the range backup quarterback at this point. As is Sam Darnold. He'll stick around. He'll be a backup. Fine. Listen, not everybody's there to start. Colt McCoy came out last week. He's like, listen, not everybody's a starter. I was like, yeah, that's a good point. He's like, I'm here. I'd like to coach. I was like, oh yeah. Did you hear what Colt McCoy said? He's starting for it's the Cardinals last week. And he's like, he's just like, yeah, not everybody's a starter. I was like, all right. I like that. At least he knows his place. So yeah, I love those defenses. Let's do a real quick run through of the tight end position before we kind of bounce here. So Kelsey and Andrews at the top. Preferences, guys. BobbyWow preference here, just a little bit of each, sprinkle them in, or do I just kind of lock those guys in with their quarterbacks, but maybe pay down in other situations? How you approaching this one?
Man, I know Travis Kelce's been really, really hot. I think Mark Andrews is the smash play of the slate at tight end. That's where I'm going first.
I love the price on him. Burns?
That's my boy right there, Mark Andrews. Yeah, I'm going with him and Lamar.
Yeah, but even assuming it's a non-Lamar, because I always pair. Listen, if Kelsey smashes, Mahomes.
Oh, I'll have a lot of Andrews.
Yeah,
I think Kelsey. I like Kelsey too, but man, he's 1,200 more than Andrews. That's tough, man. That's a tough payout.
Yeah, and I just think there's more checks against Kelsey. I get it; he's pretty much matchup proof. But the other outside of price, I believe the Rams are 3rd or 4th in the league in terms of limiting points to tight ends. And if we're factoring the blowout risk as well, it just feels like there's more potential for a fail.
Totally agree. I like the price on Andrews better. I think Andrews is playable without Lamar, where Kelsey almost needs to be with Mahomes. Yeah. Like those two go together. I got a rap line that I'm not going to say. Not even going to say it. But they go together really nicely, and Andrews can be a standalone. So I love Andrews, and again I like the savings. So I totally am on board. Swoop mentioned in the chat play tight ends against Arizona. So moving down that list in the sub elite zone, you've got George Kittle here, which I don't love. San Francisco erases tight ends.
Yeah.
They are not the team to target tight ends against. But Gerald Everett gets the unicorn golden matchup against Arizona. I think if I'm in the 4K range, that's the guy that I'm using. Everybody agree? BobbyWow? You can thumbs up me. Like, yeah, there's no point in
I
continuing.
agree.
Yeah,
I
so
love it.
as we're moving down now, there's a couple of names. Njoku off the injured list.
Yep.
I think he's our 3K guy. Anyone else?
I got a couple
Hurts?
others.
Well, yeah, who you liking, Burns? Who's the
I
sharp
like
guy
Hayden
I'm pointing
Hurst.
to?
Hayden Hurst.
Little Hayden Hurst, yeah.
But I also like Noah Fant too. I think Noah Fant could have a good week this week too. The matchup is pretty good for him this week and he's had a pretty good rapport with Geno Smith too.
He hasn't been bad. He had that almost 100-yard game against Arizona.
And 3.2K on DraftKings is super cheap.
Yeah, he's cheap. He's cheap enough. Again, these are Turdley. Turdley.
Let me check one thing before
Taylor Conklin.
There was one other one. Give me 1 second. Okay. I got him. He went off last week, and I'm going right back to him, and I called him out on this show last week. I am going right back to the well with Thomas in Washington for tight end spot, man. You cannot beat this guy. I mean, this guy is starting to light it up. He's getting more and more targets. He did his thing last week.
He can stay on the field.
Yeah,
I think he's a top 10 tight end in the league. Easily.
I'm going to tell you something, Burns. I've been down this road with Logan Thomas.
I know you have.
A lot of times. And I'm not just this year. Multiple years.
Yeah.
We go back years.
I know.
And the second he starts to heat up, just like you just said, he gets hurt.
And that's okay. At 3K, it's kind of baked in, with him. You're not going to see him over 3.8K. I don't think he's been over 3.8K this year. So at 3K, that's 3, 10 gets you there. 10, 12.
We've been down this road before, Logan Thomas and the community.
Yep.
Not good. All right, let's wrap it up there. That's a really thorough. I needed this tournament tactics today, guys. This slate, Thanksgiving. I was having a hard time getting my head right afterwards. All that turkey, all the food. And so this really kind of got me squared away. And I hope you guys who are watching this really got kind of set and squared away for this week's slate, because I'm feeling really good about it right now. You get a good sense of how the builds are going to look. Those cheap running backs, Rachaad White, core. Jeff Wilson Jr., core. I love it when I could start my lineup with 2 automatic button clicks, and I'm like, all right, what am I doing with the rest of it? Those 2, I got it locked down. So I'm feeling really, really good about what we did. And a couple notes. Again, remember, if you want to, I swept my Thanksgiving bets. All you had to do was be a sharp pro, and you would have been crushing it. Crushed last week. I had my best week of NFL betting last week, and it continued. Last week, the big bet on Dallas, the pizza bet, it was crazy. We're all the suckers on the Vikings. It was spectacular. I think I hit 7 of 9 NFL bets last week, coming off a sweep. So if you want to check out Sharp app, you could trail me, you could trail Stasational, Anthony P, the whole team. Of course, all the awesome features, the AI, the betting handle data, the sportsbook liability sheet that we get direct. No one else has this. Direct from an overseas sportsbook. They send us their liability sheet. We know which side of the bet they need. And we are able to be with the sportsbook. You want this. We give really, really awesome stuff. And if you want to check out Sharp App Pro, see what it's all about, you could do it free right now just for watching Tournament Tactics. Go to sharp.app, promo code Army. And I'm telling you to do the sign up on the website, not via the app, because it's freaking hard to figure out where to put a promo code in on the app. I shit you not. It's just hard. So just do it on the website, but then you will get the tools. It will transfer over to the app. Then download the app, log in. It will work. Your account is the same, but sign up on the website, then get the app after. Right? Also, DFS Army, VIP, promo code Black Friday, half off your first month of VIP. That takes it down to $35. Like I said, that's less than the price of a cup of coffee. No one's going to question me on that $35 cup of coffee. That's fine.
Wait, so is that New York City coffee?
Yeah.
Coffee geek.
I go to the club.
question you.
I go to the club and order a cup of coffee. A little vodka in it.
Okay. I was wondering where you're going with it, but yeah. So what's your coffee choice?
I actually don't. I like Starbucks, but I drink regular coffee. I do not put shit in my coffee. I don't put like flavors. Do you guys flavor coffee people? I already know BobbyWow is a pumpkin spice guy. Like, it is written all over your face.
First day it comes out, I'm a pumpkin spice guy.
I knew it. I
slam some pumpkin spice. It's good shit during the holidays.
No,
but I drink my coffee black, so it don't matter. But I can't do Starbucks. They burn their beans.
Yes.
You don't like to burn beans?
Oh man, it tastes like. And the way my dad makes their coffee, it's like mortar oil. I'm like, ugh.
Like the shit out of no. Well, that's your father's preference. No, but I use a Keurig for my coffee. Number one.
Oh my god. Oh
yeah,
jeez.
It's all the same version. But if I'm going out, I get the Starbucks at the Starbucks. But no, you guys don't use a Keurig?
The best pay down coffee and maybe the best coffee in the world is Dunkin' Donuts. So Dunkin's the way to go.
Let me tell you something about Dunkin' Donuts. Thank goodness they finally got rid of that freaking styrofoam cup. And it was only like 2 years ago that they got rid of it. I can taste the plastic chemical from that hot ass coffee in a styrofoam cup. I could taste it, bro. And it
this is coming from the guy that drinks Keurig plastic pods. What are we doing?
Probably right.
Hey, I got one for you, Geek. If you want to get off Keurig, go to Nespresso.
I've had the Nespresso. I don't like espresso. I don't like that style. It's too strong for me. But
they do the bigger 8 ounce, and it's slamming.
They have pods for the Keurig that are mesh that don't have the plastic. They do have non-plastic pods, but the spray comes out a little weird, and I don't like it either. So there's a negative to them also. There's a mesh version, but then the coffee comes out kind of weird sometimes because it doesn't have a little hole. So
do you have a pour over maker too, or
a what? What's this?
Pour over maker?
You're talking about the steamed milk?
No, your maker actually pours it over all of the grounds versus just straight down the milk.
Oh no, I don't have that. I have that machine in my house, but I don't use it. Because I make a cup. It's for me. It's convenient. It's a convenience thing. But anyway, I don't know. We're talking about coffee. Reminder. Promo code Black Friday at DFS Army, half off of VIP. And if you want, for Sharp app, the best sports betting app in the world, promo code Army gets you a free month of Pro. Download it now. We will see you guys next time. Matthew Dunn, do not use the lineup if you see me like in a first look lineup on Monday, putting a lineup in, bro, you do not want to necessarily use that. Because shit happens from Monday through Friday or Saturday. Like, you gotta wait. So much new. We didn't know Rashad White was going to be starting on Monday. Like, there are things that go on over the course of the week. So those are, first look especially.
I love the honesty. That's what I did.
Yeah, I mean,
fantastic.
It's the first look that's on Monday. Like, that lineup is not necessarily something that you want to be putting in. I'm just kind of looking at the players and the salaries on Mondays, guys. Don't use the first look lineup. That is not what it's there for. It's just a look at the slate and a fun way to put a lineup together. See, and I go back to it like at the end of the week and I'm like, oh wow, yeah, I can't believe I liked him. And then it'll be like something changed, some news came out. It could, you never know is right. You never know, but like, yeah, I mean, it's sometimes it'll be like a guy who's injured or we don't know, or some value opens up that we didn't know about. Like, you can't, the early stuff, that's what we do a whole week of research. Makes me feel stupid. Like, I spend hours and hours and hours like digging into numbers and props and all this stuff to get and it's like, oh, we didn't need to do that. The shit you slap together without doing any research on, that's what won. So it would make me feel like all the work we do is silly. Anyway, all right, let's wrap it up there. Good stuff, guys. Love it. Another great tournament tactics. Appreciate everybody. Guys, let us know. Are you down with the cores? This is the big one. Are you down with the core cheapies? Are you going different? Hey, fuck the geek. I'm going different. I want to pay up at running back this week, pay down at wide receiver. What are you doing? Let us know in the comments section below, and we'll see you guys next time on another Tournament Tactics. Take care, everyone.